Week 4 of the college football season is already come and gone. So let's get into some of my takeaways from this past weekend. Clemson fell to 1-3 after losing on a last-second field goal to Georgia Tech. Now, at the beginning of the year, I thought there was a very good chance that Georgia Tech would win this game, so that's not surprising. The surprising part, though, is Clemson being 1-3. And really, they're 2 quarters away from being 0-4. If you remember, they were down to Troy at home before a weather delay hit, and Clemson was able to come back after. Man, oh man, I don't know where Clemson goes from here. Dabo's going to have to start changing, start having to hit the transfer portal. He's already starting to bite back at fans and media, and it kind of started to happen last year, but he really took a shot at them when he said that if they want him gone, fire him so he can go somewhere else. He's not going to go sit on the couch and do nothing. He's going to continue to coach. It would be weird if Dabo's on the sidelines for Clemson. I don't think that's going to necessarily happen. But, man, Dabo has to change his philosophy and start hitting the transfer portal this offseason, or things are going to get ugly fast. I understand Clemson does have some injuries, but it just boils down to Cade Klubnik just not being the guy and Clemson just not having the horses to overcome those injuries because they have not hit the transfer portal. And, man, this one hurts me as much as it does Oklahoma fans. John Mateer's going to be out for 3 weeks. Luckily, they do have a bye this week as he injured his hand in their win over Auburn. But then they have Kent State. That game they'll be fine. And then you get the Red River Shootout. Yes, the Red River Shootout. It gets called nothing else around here. Against Texas. And, man, that's supposed to be Arch for Sean Mateer. I know Arch has kind of been underwhelming this year if you had, super high expectations for Arch, which really didn't make sense to me. And then we have John Mateer. He's going to be out. And then a game that he possibly could return is at South Carolina, but more than likely he'll return for that Ole Miss game. And, man, as someone that had a John Mateer Heisman ticket and a lot of other Oklahoma overs and making the playoffs, future prop bets like that before this season, it hurts to see. And that offense was fun, man. This was an Oklahoma offense that was fun, just something that we have not seen in a while, really. Probably going back to Jalen Hurts. But it sucks to see, man. Injuries are a part of football, yes, but this is just painful to see is what this Oklahoma team was capable to do and was potentially going to do. Luckily, it is not season ending, but he'd be out about a month. Possibly could return for that South Carolina game, though. But, man, this one really stings because Oklahoma was really fun to watch this year with Mateer. Nebraska took their first loss against Michigan in the Bussin' Bowl. They fought a 3-1. They do have a bye this week, but I really wanted to talk about Dylan Raiola because I feel like there's some weird criticism towards him. There always will be because of the Patrick Mahomes thing. But Raiola was not the issue. He did miss some throws, but he was under duress the whole game. His tackles were getting beat. As soon as Raiola would get the snap, he had 2 guys in his mouth just ready to attack. And I think Raiola, given the circumstances, was not bad. He's been a highly talking point since last year, his true freshman season, and he's a very volatile person online because the Mahomes stuff is previously stated. But a lot of people take this loss as Nebraska season being over. They're 3-1. They do have a bye this upcoming week, and then they take on Michigan State, who's no slouch. They go to Maryland, who's a very good football program, and then at Minnesota, who's another good football team. And then you got Northwestern. Should be an easy win there. And they got UCLA and USC and UCLA. And then you have a bye for that Penn State game. Nebraska's fine. They're going to lose. Bryce Underwood did look like the best quarterback in that game, in my opinion. He just had some more juice and more explosive plays. But again, Dylan Raiola was really getting no help from his offensive line. So it's kind of a fair and unfair comparison between the two in that game. But the score is a lot closer because Nebraska did hit a Hail Mary before the end of the half, but Michigan didn't stop it. Nebraska completed it, so all the props to Nebraska for that. Dylan Raiola for creating the time, getting out of the pocket for his receivers to get set up for that play. I think Nebraska will be fine. It's year 3 Matt Rule. I think a lot of people still think of the old college football playoff system where if you lose one game, you're basically eliminated or you're very on the ropes. Nebraska will be fine. I still think they'll be fighting for a college football playoff appearance when they're heading to Penn State for that November 22nd game. Florida's dead. There's no other way to put it. Billy Napier, I don't know if he survives this season because, boy, does this schedule get tough. It's already been tough. Obviously, they beat the hell out of LIU to start the year. Take that loss to USF. It was a good team. They lose to LSU. Their defense kept winning that game. DJ Lagway throws 5 picks. They only lose by 10. Miami, 26-7, that game was not close. They do have a bye, and Lagway is hurt, and there's a good chance that we've seen DJ Lagway's last game played in a Florida jersey, which is kind of crazy just thinking back to the offseason hype, which I was part of. And then, man, Billy Napier might not survive this next stretch of games where they're playing against Texas. They get to Texas A&M, and then they play a sneaky good Mississippi State team. After that Mississippi State game, though, Florida does have a bye. So I would not be surprised if Billy Napier is fired in that bye, and then they just get shellacked against Georgia coming out of that bye. But, man, things have gone down south quick in Gainesville. There were talks that DJ Lagway is the best quarterback in the sport in the offseason by a lot of talking heads and just a lot of people in the sport. Billy Napier is a very polarizing person his whole tenure there. And I think Billy Napier is a fine coach. I just don't know if he's an SEC guy. And I said last year, I made a video on it, that I think Florida should stick with Billy Napier because the recruiting is good. The recruiting classes are good. It's just not resulting to on-field results. And really, at the end of the day, those on-field results are really the only thing that does truly matter. Indiana is legit. Kirk Cignetti can coach. Before the season, I predicted them to have about 8, 9, 10 wins, be anywhere in that range. And, man, it looks like they're going back to the playoff, and good chance that they only got one loss because they've been a buzzsaw, man. They absolutely destroyed Illinois 63-10. They play at Iowa this upcoming week, and then they have a bye, and then they head to Autzen Stadium and take on Oregon, who I think Oregon will beat them. That game is going to be a lot closer than people think. But, man, what a huge get it was for Fernando Mendoza to go to Indiana. Because Fernando Mendoza took a official visit in the offseason to Georgia, and then Kirk Cignetti came in and got him to take the job at Indiana because Georgia would not guarantee Mendoza the starting job, which is it's kind of crazy to think about, and it's kind of worked out for both teams. As Gunnar Stockton's been a good enough player for Georgia, and is just growing every week. And then Mendoza he's odds-on favorite to win Heisman now after the John Mateer injury. And yeah, I never would have guessed that Mendoza would be here. He's a good quarterback, yes, and he was good at Cal, but man, he's really taken another step in the Cignetti offense in Bloomington. Indiana's legit, man. I get they're not a traditional power by any stretch of the means, but man, what Kirk Cignetti's doing, respect. Memphis. Ryan Silverfield is going to be a hot name for the Oklahoma State job after they fired Mike Gundy. And, man, it showed why. They were down 18 points at home against Arkansas and came back and won. Arkansas kind of shot themselves in the foot with some turnovers late. But, man, Ryan Silverfield is a hell of a coach. He's been at Memphis for a while now. He's had to replace multiple coordinators and multiple players via the transfer portal, and it's just work every time. He's a great coach, and by all means, all his players love him, and that's all you can really ask for. Memphis has got a good shot of being the G5 team in the playoff fight. It's going to come down to them and Tulane. But, man, Memphis is legit, man. That November 7th game, which is a Friday night against Tulane on ESPN, that game is going to be must-watch because the winner of that could very easily be the playoff team. I'm sure they'll meet again in the American Conference Championship game. But Memphis is legit, and they're looking to be the squad that's going to be the G5 team this year. As always, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Let me know down in the comments what were some of your takeaways from this past weekend of college football.